Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're playing Drawback Chess, where each player is assigned a random drawback, like Cowardly, where if your opponent captures you must move backwards, or Death Wish, where if you can move into check you must. Except today I'm going to be doing something a little different. I won't be able to see my own drawback, so the opponent's drawback will be a mystery, as will my own. My goal is to win one game. Let's get started with game number one. Alright, game number one, we do get the white pieces, and our drawback is something, and the other. Obviously, I have no idea what my drawback is. You guys will be able to see it on screen, but I'm going to look on the board and see if there are any hints as to, because sometimes there's like a red square or something highlighted that serves as a hint as to exactly what my drawback may be, but instead we just have a Scandi on the board. So we'll go ahead and take this pawn. Obviously, I should, I guess I lost the game. Let's pop up the info board. I was gonna say, I guess I should play a relatively fast game, because the longer I play for, the more likely it is I fall into my own drawback. But that happened on move 2, so no worries there. You lost due to your drawback. Your opponent's drawback was Rook Fan Club. You must promote to rooks. Okay, wait, I don't care what my opponent's drawback was though, because we only got to the second move. Their drawback was significantly easier than ours was. What was my drawback? Okay, I'm sorry that it's formatted super weird, but I'm in my match history right now to see what my drawback was. Also, I'm going to blur the opponent's name because their name is absolutely disrespectful. Anyways, our drawback was 2 steps forward, 1 drawback. If you move forward 2 times in a row, you must move backwards on the next. Oh, and I guess it auto forfeited because I had no legal backwards moves. Okay, with that, we do lose game number 1. Let's go to move on to game number 2. Alright, game number 2, we do get the white pieces, and our drawback is, once again, unknown to me. I do think it's quite funny to watch these back when I'm editing them, because I obviously have no idea what my drawback is, but you guys do, so you guys will wince immensely if I ever, hover over a move that's going to cause me a loss, but in this case, ignorance is bliss, because I won't know anything about it. We do get knight to f6. I'm going to think that I should just play super aggressively, because I'd imagine the sooner I finish the game, the faster, or rather the less likely it is that I sort of waddle into my own drawback. So, okay, my king can't castle. I mean, I suppose I'll get occasional hints as to what my drawback may be. Can I move anything? I can only move, I actually already know what this drawback is. The drawback is if I can capture a pawn, I must. I'm like 99% sure that's what it is. Okay, we'll go ahead and take on e5. That's actually not the worst drawback in the world. I think I'm going to play on the basis that that's the drawback, because I'm fairly confident that that's what my drawback is. If I can capture a pawn, I must. Watch. Oh, never mind. I'm a chump. Okay, now I'm seriously confused. Maybe it has to do with odd or even moves. How many moves have we played? 1, 2, 3. So on odd moves, maybe if you can capture something, you must. Oh, maybe it's just capture anything. If you can capture something on odd moves, you must. That would make a lot of sense. I'm also glad that we got 5 minutes of time control, because that gives me plenty of time to diagnose the situation. Okay, they are attacking my bishop. You'd imagine I should not let them take my bishop, so let's go back to b3. So I've already learned the lesson that I cannot be overconfident in my ability to guess the drawback. I don't think there's an overarching strategy other than just playing super aggressively, because there are literally, I've talked to the devs before, there are literally hundreds of drawbacks, and I've played a lot of them, but I don't even know if I've even played every single one of them, much less am familiar with or know every single one just by sight. So I think it's just best to play super aggressive instead. We get queen to d6. Is there no limitation again? What's going on? Okay, so maybe it isn't odd moves. I really don't know what's happening anymore. They're attacking my knight, so I'm going to defend my knight. I'm also not really sure what their drawback could be. I mean, this might just be a not super high elo player, but it also could be somebody working around an awkward drawback that just isn't apparent yet. But I'm happy with my position. I've got my bishop developed, looking at d5. My knight is outposted and centralized. I'm going to castle in just a second. So as long as none of those things interfere with my drawback, I should be fine. Can I castle? Yeah, looks like I can. I'm going to castle my king. That seems pretty solid. It feels like playing Minefield, except I don't have any hints, or at least my hints are very few and far between. We have that single third move kerfuffle, because generally this game lets you play whatever you want. Right there, even king d2 I could have technically played if I wanted to, because of all the mixing and matching drawbacks. This is technically a king capture variant. There's no real such thing as checkmate. But on move 3, we were literally not physically allowed by the game to move to certain squares, so I'm wondering, I mean, that has to do with our drawback. I just don't know how at all. Can I move anything? I'm gonna keep testing my pieces and make sure that there's no funny business going on. Okay, let's go knight to c3. I'm like the doctor tapping on their patient's knee. I'm trying to diagnose the position with little taps, see if I can get any kind of information whatsoever. For the most part, we have all of our pieces still on the board. I get pawn to a6. Can I take you? I really should be like checking every single piece. I thought I couldn't capture there for a sec. Looks like everything is fine. I don't see anything strange happening here. Let's just take on e4. I'm gonna try and cause the opponent a headache of some kind. I also want to sort of diagnose their position. Ooh, okay, we're on a move. We're on one of those moves again. Okay, it has to do with captures. That much is apparent because, like, for instance, I can't move any of these pieces because they can't capture anything. But the knight and the bishop can, which doesn't seem like a big deal. I'm just going to capture the knight. Is it going to force me to capture something else again? I'm really confused. I feel like this drawback has to be at least a paragraph long because it feels like this would have so many like contingencies. Okay, never mind, I guess. Another move where I can only capture. So I'll take. Am I going to lose because I can't make a capture on the next turn? That would actually be... Okay, I lost. Okay, so I figured it out when it was already way too late, but let's go and pop up the info board. Okay, you lost. Your opponent's drawback was ivory tower. You lose if there's an opposing piece adjacent to your king. That would have not happened for a very long time in the game, so let's see what my drawback was. Okay, my drawback was eye for an eye. If your opponent captures you... Oh, eye for an eye, and I've had this drawback several times before as well. Okay, because that's the thing. If I just like see it, I'll recognize it, but I'm not gonna like think of it off the top of the dome. Eye for an eye. If your opponent captures, you must capture on your next move or lose. So basically, if my opponent captures anything, for the most part, I usually can't take back. Or rather, the opposite. If my opponent captures something, I have to be able to constantly take back until somehow the game magically ends. But that's something that the chance of happening is like infinitesimally small. So let's go to move on to game number 3. All right, game number 3, we get the black pieces and our drawback is bliss. Don't know what your drawback is. Well, unless you lose the game and then the bliss ends. But okay, we get with knight to f3. Let's go, you know what, let's just play super aggressive. Let's play pawn to e5. Take my pawn. I dare you. They do, okay, they take my pawn. Let's go. Already I can't move something. Okay, it's just the queen that's limited. The knight seems fine. Pawns are all okay. The bishop is fine as well, which is interesting. Let's go bishop d6. Maybe it's just like a queen and king drawback where they have to like stay together somehow. I'd actually prefer that because that would mean that I'm free to do whatever I please with the rest of my pieces. Okay, queen is limited, king is always limited. Oh, king can only go to e8 or e7 rather, but not f8. Okay, I'm going to assume thus far the drawback is my king and queen have to stay together. Let's go bishop to c5. Also, my opponent's name is so funny, Abobus. Instead of Among Us, it's Abobus. We get pawn to d4. I'm going to assume everything is the same down here. Everybody else seems fine. Yeah, it's just my king and my queen that I think have to stay together. Let's just go back to e7. They're bothering me a bit too much for my liking at this point. I'm going to also assume that basically means I can't castle, because castling, of course, would draw my king even further from my queen. Bishop to g5. Yeah, I definitely cannot castle. Okay, that just means we have to play with all of the rest of our pieces. Bishop takes. I can take back. That's... What? Oh, I won! Oh, okay, let's pop up the info board. I was like, how did I lose? I thought I diagnosed my drawback just fine. I mean, I still might not have, but I thought I was on the right track, so that would have been a devastating defeat. But we won! Our opponent lost due to their drawback. Your opponent's drawback was body snatcher. If your opponent ever captures a non-pawn piece with an equivalent piece, example, knight recaptures from a knight, you lose. Oh, and in that case, they took with a bishop, and I took back with a bishop, and they lost. Wow, that was like, that wasn't even a hard drawback for my opponent. I think they were just speedrunning the loss. I was speedrunning winning without knowing what my drawback was, and the opponent was speedrunning losing to their drawback. But okay, body snatcher is such a funny name as well. Okay, I'm super curious. Let's see what my drawback was. Okay, my drawback was true love. Yeah, I think I got it right. Your king can only make moves that place it adjacent to your queen, and can't move if you don't have a queen, and your queen can only make moves that place it adjacent to your king. Weirdly enough, wait, let's pop up that info board again. Okay, this seems to be like a middle of the road drawback, which I can kind of understand, but it didn't seem particularly hard. I say that as if I knew what the drawback was during the game, but retroactively, it doesn't seem like a super hard thing to play with, but I'm glad we got it, because with that, we do actually win one game without knowing what our drawback is. And now it would be a disgrace to have such a short drawback episode, so let's move on to game number 4. All right, game number 4, we get the white pieces, and our drawback is 4 mystery squares in the middle of the board. This is a tricky one, because it could mean I have to have something there at all. Oh, that's definitely what it means. Okay, I was gonna say, I think it means that I have to have something there at all times, or it means that I can never go there, but I clicked on my pawn, and it basically forced me to move my pawn to e4. Now it's not gonna force me to do anything, I'd imagine. Obviously, if I take, the queen takes back, and I probably instantly lose, so I'm gonna play pawn to e5 instead. I think a closed center would be an enormous victory here, because it means I always have a bunch of pieces in the middle of the board. Now, I also don't know if this means that I have to like majority control. I don't think so though, because after e4, d5, or maybe I have to end my turn with majority control. There could be some sort of, you know, added stipulation that I'm not taking into account here, but I don't think so. I think I just have to always have a piece there. We'll offer up a little bishop trade. That's also good too, because I'm going to assume, like, if you have a drawback, like always have, I don't know, at least one piece in the middle of the board. Usually that's not, you know, there's no addendum that also says, and make sure your king is on d1 or something completely silly and unrelated. Usually your drawback just has one singular theme and one singular body of idea. So I think with this, we've done it. That might just be it for the entire game. We just have to keep something in the middle of the board. It would be shocking to find out that there's more to it, but we do get this nice little skewer. So we're going to win some kind of material, and we also get to poke and prod their position. Do I sacrifice one of my few central pawns? If I take and they play e5 and I lose by majority somehow, that's devastating. You know what? I might just castle my king. I don't think it's worth it. I'd rather, okay, but they're trying to boot my bishop. You know what? We're taking all of their stuff. Pawn takes back. Let's drop the bishop back. If they play e5, I can just take with the knight. Queen comes over. Let's play, ooh, bishop takes. Bishop takes looks really nice because not only is it a fork, we reestablish control over that e5 square, which I think is so critical. I might just play bishop e5 and not even take the rook. I think it's genuinely that important to keep central control here. Queen slides back. Interesting they didn't take with the knight. Let's go b4. Let's entice them to do so. And we also have to get some sort of queenside attack underway because they have two, yeah, there they go. They have one open file and one semi-open file. Basically, two cannons are about to be looking down at my king, and I really don't want to be just sitting around waiting for them to obliterate my king side. All right, let's take back with the knight. So far, so good. I think this is okay. Queen slides back. No doubt they're, oh, I was gonna say no doubt they're gonna play queen g6, but you know what? Maybe they should play queen g6. Let's go a4. Let's try and get this break going on the king side. Bishop slides over. It almost feels like they know what my drawback is, even though I think they're just trying to remove my centralized knight, which does look really nice there. It is funny how much they're attacking the setter. Okay, so no matter how they take here, there's gonna be an open file. They take back with the pawn. So I think I have to develop my knight first, to be honest, because if I drop one rook in there, I want to be able to follow it up with another. King slides up. That's a little bit unfortunate. Can I go knight c6? I think I can. I still have that pawn on d4, and now I'm threatening that rook to a7 move, which looks absolutely lethal. Whoa, rook comes up to d7. Isn't this mate? I think this is just mate now. Check, king goes back. And then we just slide the rook over. Oh, wait a second. Maybe I should just play check and grab the queen that I've earned. Okay, let's do that. Let's just grab the queen that we've earned instead. Rook takes on g2. Now I really have no idea what's happening. Oh, I could have taken the king and won the game. What am I doing? I'm wasting my time. Oh, why did I do that? Okay, regardless, this is still completely winning, but I can just take the king right away and win game number 4. With that, we actually win 2 games without knowing what on earth my drawback is. Let's go ahead and pop up the info board. All right, you won. You took your opponent's king. Your opponent's drawback was nurturer. You can't capture their king until you've promoted a pawn. You can't capture their king until you've promoted a pawn? Is it really easy? Wow, I kind of feel bad for my opponent. That seems kind of, is that not like super hard because you have to make it to an endgame at least? I mean, I guess it means that you play without a drawback essentially, but it also means that their king is invincible. And if by any shout or means, when you get to that endgame, they find out that their king is, you know, invincible, I don't know if you're going to get as far as promoting a pawn. Wow, that seems like some harsh grading, but okay, we did manage to win the game. I wonder what my drawback was. Okay, our drawback was king of the hill, except for the first turn. If you start your turn without a piece in the center 4 squares, you lose. Okay, beautiful. So it wasn't majority, it wasn't anything funny. It was literally just have one piece in the middle of the board, aka find a way to force close the center. We did so with, I think it was like an advanced French that we played into kind of. And yeah, then we just played a normal game of chess, which was pretty nice. With that, we actually win 2 games without knowing what our drawback was. If you guys did enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing. If you have any other ideas for funny things that I should do for the channel, whether it be drawback or more modifications to Stockfish, by the way, shout out to all of you guys that have been playing on iwantcheckmate.com and playing against my Stockfish variations, as well as my own Tony bot. That's been really, really cool to see. Let me know down below if you have any other ideas that I should try out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.